Good day, everyone. This is Polyp Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Derry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Sanswinda,
Hi.
Guerendis,
Good evening, everyone.
Kilabathian,
Hello.
and Arendis.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone. And let's go into our news for this week because we actually have a few things here. We'll begin with another release, update 25.4.4. And this is, as usual, a minor release here to take care of some things in Remarkant. First off, the Fire Spider, which is Boss 1, Tier 3, the Smoldering Wrath mechanic now functions properly. Then Shelob's dwindling amusement has been increased from 18 minutes from 15 minutes on Tier 3. Shelob changes have been made to logic in Shelob's encounter, and the fight and its related effects should perform better. And for Thausulin the Massive, reduce the potency of acrid gas initial damage on all tiers, and acrid gas dot effects on tier 3s. Acrid gas dot effects tier 3s now has a duration of 90 seconds. It used to be permanent. Oh, good grief.
Yikes.
Added a ranged attack to Thausulin on phase 1. Acrid Spit with a cooldown of 10 seconds. She will only use this if the tank is out of melee range. Increased range of enraged attack to match the rest of her attacks, 10 meters. Dying will no longer prevent infectious parasites from spawning parasitic larvae. Increased priority. Initial cooldown to 10 was 5, and cooldown to 25 was 15 on the Daughters of Thausulin's infectious parasites attack. Good grief, these are all sounding nasty.
It sounds like so much fun.
Yes, increased initial cooldown and cooldown of parasitic larva spread infection attack to 8 was 5. Phase 2, Thausulin's initial cooldown on acrid gas reduced to 15 was 30 on all tiers, and acidic ichor will no longer cause volatile beetles to burst prematurely.
So
Because that's
fun.
terrible.
Totally want to do that, right, Sans?
Yes. This stuff here, and I presume that the Awesome the Massive is one of those queen insects that really do nasty things all over.
Probably.
And Ruhor the Pale Herald fixed an issue that prevented the damage component of volatile power tiers 1 through 4. I think somebody here predicted that the Pale Herald and his friends were going to be in this raid. Apparently they were correct. And some name filter rules for characters, kinships, and legendary items have been adjusted, in most cases expanding the allowed names. Localized French, German, and English naming rules have been applied to all servers and clients in all 3 languages.
Can you use needles yet?
I've got to go and check that, yes, because that's... yeah. Can I use the name Needles? I'll have to go and find that out. And those are the release notes for 25.4.4. I should also note that Cordovan said that we are most likely going to get our first Bulwer build for 26 in about 2 weeks. So we'll see how well they can do that. Of course, as usual, things could change due to all sorts of disasters that could happen between now and then. But right now, we may get a Bulwer build in 2 weeks. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, what about the producer's letter? And Cordovan announced that they were waiting on Friday. They were waiting for the last signature in order to approve it, which means that once they get that done, they should be able to do it. So we are currently expecting the producer's letter to come out early next week. And I've heard two different hypotheses on the reason the producer's letter was late. One of them we're going to get into later. But the one that was given by Cordovan was that they had one point that was being a real sticky issue that they needed to get down and smooth out. And when they finally did that, it was right after PAX East when every other point that was in the producer's letter was already mentioned. And I said, oh, we can't just have that in the producer's letter if everything else has already been announced. So they're wanting now then to get some more information about further things that were coming up in this year so that they would have more to put into the letter. Now, they're going to have the stuff announced at PAX East in there just because there might be some people who didn't hear that announcement. And they're also going to have the one, of course, that held everything up in there and these new things on top of it. So we'll see what's actually in the producer's letter, because assuming things actually get published, that means we'll be able to talk about it next week.
Yay.
Hey, finally we can talk about our producer's letter. Then let's head into the Beacon issue 154, where that must be the fires. Well, I don't know. I think I would see flames if this were the fire spider. It's
Yeah,
definitely a
Fans,
spider.
don't look. Yeah. Poor Sans. All the news is about spiders right now.
All the news is about spiders. Yeah. That's. Then let's hit. I just check out because there's also in that.
Hasn't it pretty much been like that since the raid launch, though?
Yeah, all
It
stuff about
has.
spiders.
It's kind
All
of
spiders
fitting.
all the time.
It's fitting, but I can't wait for it to be done.
Yes, there is that. You can't wait for that to be done. And then next up in the Beacon for the community spotlight, we have the final moments in Deco de Milo's X3 Creators Contest. The deadline for voting in this contest is April 5th at April 5th, 11:59:59. In other words, just before midnight going into April 6th in there. So we have a little bit more than a day left as of the live recording of this. Unfortunately, if you're listening to this after we publish it on the site, it'll be too late in there, in which case I'm sure they'll have the results for it pretty soon. Next, we have a day on the Greenfields, an annual concert on Lunchbowl, which is taking place on April 19th. That is 2 weeks and a day from the recording here. And Hacker?
It's actually on the 18th and the 19th. They didn't put that on there. Just wanted to mention that, everybody.
Okay, that's good, because that does make a lot of sense, because usually these things start on Saturday. So I say, right, it is Saturday and Sunday, because of course it's a big 2-day event.
But if it's a 2-day event,
Bring your
why
bunnies.
is it a day on the Greenfields?
It started out as a 1-day type of invitational, and it's grown from then, from what I understand.
Which is pretty much what happens every time they do events.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next
For
year it might be
example,
3 or 4.
there was a time when Weatherstock was just a day event. Then they had all this Weatherstock concert series, Weatherstock. Prep, Weatherstock, that. So all these things that they had in preparation for Weatherstock. On top of that. So yes, they do tend to grow. And LOTRO Fashion is on Pinterest, and you could click to see the outfits that are there. My outfits from the Lord of the Rings online, 112 outfits that are pinned here.
Terry, did you have anything to do with that?
I did not. I'm not on Pinterest.
I was about to say there's a lack of yellow, so I think that Terry would approve.
But I'm not on Pinterest, just like I'm not on Facebook.
Very well. Then let's head to the Kin Hall. And we got a real interesting name for our kin this week. It's a wipe! It's a Wipe is a socially relaxed kinship on Arkenstone that does just about everything the game offers, from PvP, raiding, deeding, and more. So I have a feeling that they are not a very serious raiding group with a name like It's a Wipe. The kinship is currently looking for in-game players for the latest instances and raids, and you can click to check out their site and apply. The next question is for our weekly comment. What is the healthiest vegetable in Middle-earth?
Carrots.
Agreed.
That actually took a lot of thought on my part because I saw this question on yesterday's Beacon, and I was like, what is the tastiest vegetable in Middle-earth? And then I'm thinking about all the different vegetables that you can grow in Middle-earth, because technically they have the fruits listed as vegetables, which is wrong. But
they're using a very broad definition of the word vegetable.
But the healthiest vegetable in Middle-earth is carrots, because carrots are more than just a healthy vegetable. That's why the Elfis can do the Elfi thing. It's the only vegetable in Middle-earth other than taters that I can actually see dwarves crunching on. Because I can't really see them crunching on green leafy vegetables, but I can totally see dwarves snacking on a carrot stick and complaining about it. I can see them doing it, but I can see them complaining about it at the same time. So they're like the dwarves are like the characters that are nom nom nom. I hate these things. Nom nom nom.
Well, I guess I can't argue with that. Anyone else have any suggestions that aren't carrots? Or are we all agreed on it?
I would agree. Someone in the chat said any veggie not nibbled on by hobbits is the healthiest vegetable.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that too.
Not nibbled on by
I'm sure
hobbits?
that the hobbits
Is
nibble
there
on
anything
them too.
that
But hobbits turn them into cakes? That's why we have carrot cake.
It's the healthiest cake that we make.
But is there anything that hobbits don't eat?
I know. I'm pretty sure that
There's a question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's not a vegetable that hobbits don't eat, but I don't see hobbits nomming on the raw carrot sticks the way I see the dwarves nomming on raw carrot sticks, because hobbits are just going to turn them into cake. Or muffins. Carrot muffins, carrot cupcakes.
Terry, you're making me hungry now.
Sorry.
I suppose so. Let's head into the fan site news then. LOTRO Players news last week. We wanted to be taller.
I need
Which
a
is
hobbit
actually
champion,
weird.
actually. I don't care.
It's actually a strange interpretation of what happened on last week's podcast, because it wasn't that we wanted to be taller. It's that we needed champions to be able to be shorter.
Well, yes, there is that.
I was going to say... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for some of us, the desire to be taller is an everyday thing. It's not just a last week
I know.
thing.
And it's not just an online game thing either. It's
Exactly.
apparently a very real life thing.
Yeah, I'm sure my mother wished that a few times. She was 5 feet exactly, so.
Pine Leaf has a mom?
Yeah.
And the podcast world, goes crazy.
Did you think he sprang from the ground like a dwarf?
Well,
Oh,
no,
wait.
I
a
still
joke a
remember
ways back
people.
when he was a robot?
Yeah,
Like way back.
way
Like
back.
hundreds.
That's an old joke, but it's there still.
LOTRO Stream is your first stop for LOTRO streamers on Twitch. This week, Shin plays a level 130 character. Skymatic journeys on Arkenstone, and Wayward Plane goes on a flight of fancy. Also on Twitch, Yogscast goes on an adventure. Dracoris raids, and Corey Olsen discusses Boromir. And over on YouTube,
Yogscast is playing LOTRO now?
yes, that's what it says. And over on YouTube,
Normally
Mr.
they play Minecraft, and that's Diggy Diggy Hole. So.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they got to look at Artcraft and decided they needed to give
I guess.
LOTRO a time.
Maybe they're trying it out during this the adventures are free period.
Could be.
Please
Or
tell
what-
me there's going to be a remix of Diggy Diggy Hole with Lotro. Please.
Please. Oh, yes. Yes.
I will put in a personal request, please. Sorry, Pineleaf, keep going.
Over on YouTube, Mr. Inadequate runs the Flaming Deeps.
Triceratops Jr.
Oh, it is Triceratops. Triceratops Jr. says now is the best time to play, and Gamolio Dan ventures forth. Right. And LOTRO Legendarium delves into the Hootbold experiment. Ooh.
What's
There's
the
an ex-
bold experiment?
Yeah, what kind of experiment is he doing? And now for our screenshot of the week. Nego grabs his cool screenshot on the way to Bar Nearnath. On this week's screenshot, thank you for sending in. You can submit a screenshot through contact@sandstonegames.com.
That's a really cool shot. I like the pet that he used.
Where in
Not only
Lotro
does it
is
look cool, but there's no spiders.
Well, that adds to the coolness factor for Sans Window all the time.
I mean, obviously it doubles its coolness points right now, so.
Right. So exactly where that is, I don't know. Where is this?
I mean, I know it says on the way to Barn. I'm going to butcher the living
I don't know
daylights
where
out.
Barn Nath is.
Thank you, Terry, for saying it so I didn't have to.
Is that not in-game stuff? Like Minas Morgul expansion, maybe?
Possibly, but I don't recall passing that spot.
Yeah, let's see. That is in. Let's see. Bar Nearnath is. This instance is part of the Minas Morgul instance cluster.
I know where that is. I've just never seen it with that good of graphics.
Yes, there is that little potential problem. That there is that strange forest there that you get at the end. Is that the forest that opens up after you finish everything else?
I think it must be, though you can get in there earlier, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there are any quests until you finish things.
I just wanted to point out in chat.
Discover the instance.
Sorry. I was just going to point out in chat that Sandberg said that he's seen a Diggy Diggy Hole kinship.
That is fantastic.
diggy hole kinship. With that, we conclude our LOTRO beacon. So let's head into our store sales. Terry Adwin, what's on sale this week?
Let's see. Well, before we get into store sales, I have to tell everybody about the free Pig in a Blanket housing decoration with the coupon code Sleeping Pig now through April 30th, and you can get 10 of them per account, which means you can actually have one of these on every server, except the legendary servers. Or pick and choose, because now technically there's 12 servers, but I don't count legendary servers because I don't play on them. But you can have 10 of them, and they're really stinking cute.
They really are.
They're really, really cute. And LOTRO Bonus Days is still on with the plus 10% Virtue XP and Baggins birthday event through April 6th. And we have Hobnanigans this weekend. Yeah. Which people that play Hobnanigans actually care about, but nobody else does.
Cordovan Stream this week was actually at the Hobnanigans field.
I have the Hobnanigans quest filtered out on my account on every server. But Spring Festival also continues through April 13th. As for store sales, this is our final weekend to get double bonus points in the LOTRO store, which means that if you buy points, you get double the bonus points. So it's best time to buy points until the next time they do double bonus points. And 30% off some Valor stuff, including the 120 Valor, which is the best Valor because you actually get decent equipment with that one. Third Age Item Trove and Legacy Scroll Box. And the weekly coupon gets us a plus 5% attack damage boost with coupon code ATKUP now through April 9th.
Whee! Let's then head into our site news, and we are going to begin with Where in Middle-earth is Emeralina, where we had a bonus one this week, where it looks like Emeralina is... Where is Emeralina?
I know. Where's anybody? Oh, you can actually see kind of the outline in stealth, and it was a great shot.
No, I was talking about the bonus one.
I know.
No, there's a new one. So that one was
There's
almost
a
the
newer one.
April Fool one, but then she decided it wasn't the April Fool one, so it went up last week. So now there's
What?
the new one.
Yeah.
So there's one called bonus, and the one after that is 58, which we'll get into in a moment.
Yeah, we were talking about the bonus one.
Yeah, the one that shows the 4 hobbits.
Doing the shrug.
Yeah, that are shrugging.
Oh. Yeah, the 4 hobbits.
Is Emeralina.
One of them is Emeralina. But
Yeah.
which one is Emeralina?
Which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Emeralina is obviously in disguise.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then
Are you sure that's not you, Pine?
What? Well, one of these is Emeralina in disguise. I mean, so which one is it? Because we have a Sanswinda, we have a Pine Leaf, we have Guarendis is there, right?
One of those is a character of mine, yes.
Yes.
One of those was mine.
You're right. Okay. And a Calabathian in there?
No, I think so.
No.
Okay.
No, Keosaurus.
Keosaurus. That's right. Keosaurus. So we have those 4 in here, but the question is, which one is actually Emeralina in disguise?
And where is she?
And where is she?
In Middle
Oh,
Earth.
yes. And of
Not
course,
just in
where
there.
are they in Middle-earth? Though we'll actually have a tour of that place later on in this episode, right?
I believe so.
Yes. And that means that next we have... Oh, let's see. Next, then we have Where's Emeralina number 48. where they mentioned that number 47 was in Gathforthnear in Angmar, and we'll talk about where the bonus was in a later article. But number 48 then has
3 pine leaves?
Apparently I'm in triplicate to this week. And we're pondering which is the real pine leaf. And
Pine leaves
maybe
and a Terry.
Yeah, and Terry is trying to probably say, all right, which one's pine leaf?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
One is Emerlina, though. I can give that away. Because it is where
Yeah.
in Middle-earth is Emerlina. So she is visible. At least as visible as everyone else.
Yes, and Mary Rose seems to have a hypothesis here that might be a clue. We'll see how that works out. But yes, there you go. This week's are the 3 pine leaves, and of course, figuring out where the 3 pine leaves are currently located. So now, we next have a visual tour of a secret ranger camp.
Can I just say that I loved this post? This
I
post was great.
cracked up so hard over this post.
I had so much fun with this, you guys. Halberd totally ruined the beautiful screenshots that I had, though. It was a joke, like, a whole year in the making, so I'm glad it worked.
A whole year in the making?
Oh yeah, I was ready to post it last April Fool's when I saw the articles, and then I was like, man, it's not for another year. And I remembered it, because I put it in my phone telling me to do it. So, you know.
That's dedication right there.
Ready to have it all prepared up. You're in advance.
I mean, it didn't account for the fact that the day on the last day of March, I accidentally ported a group to Estildine that I was trying to port to Nadir. So, like, it actually worked out beautifully. Like, I was there the day before this post went up. And then I intentionally took some people back, too.
Yes, Calivorn was one of
But, yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
I had no idea what you were doing at the time. I was like, okay. I'll say cheese.
Trust me, you're taking a guided tour of the secret ranger camp named... Well, Halberd will be really mad at me.
Yeah, Halberd didn't like much of what you said in here. Didn't like what you said at all, because I'm surprised that he didn't confiscate the bonus word Middle Earth. I guess because it didn't show the location all that well.
That's probably why it got away, yeah.
Yeah, that's why
They're probably thinking nobody's going to figure it out because it's so secret and safe, the secret ranger camp, that nobody's going to figure out that.
I think it was the fact that I gave, like, pictures to help, like, figure out exactly where it was that got me in so much trouble. Though I was surprised he let his name stand, so I guess maybe to give it some authority.
Well, you notice that, yeah, I guess that is a possibility, to give it some authority, that to make sure that you know that it wasn't an orc that removed it or something like that.
Right.
Maybe try to impress on the hobbits some seriousness. I don't know why they would think I did it, but you know.
Yes, but we have now our first really complete tour of Beep.
Excellent editing job there. Mary Rose in the chat says, so secret, just follow the road.
Right?
Well,
ask half a dozen stable masters in Middle Earth. They'll tell you.
They'll tell you exactly where it's at. That's right. Now let's then head into our article from Squirrel, who talks about internal strife over the scouring delays the producer's letter. So this is the other hypothesis on exactly why the producer's letter is late. Rumors have it that the delay of the yearly producer's letter, in which the SSG team details their expectations for content and changes for the upcoming 2020, has been delayed even further. While it has always been ready when it will be, this year's delays have been a hot topic. At the player meetup PAX East, we got several details about the upcoming content, but any formal details would follow in the producer's letter once more details about the mission scaling and content for accessible to all players has been finalized. Rumors have been circling that a large delay is quick upon us because of internal strife on how to handle the scouring of the Shire by Saruman and consorts. A few vocal developers want to take this opportunity to permanently change the landscape of the starting zones and beyond. With the alternate content of Mordor Besieged, we've seen that players aren't as opposed to non-canon storyline as previously thought. This gives us a chance to introduce an overhaul to the areas that have been fixed for over 13 years by that time. It won't be a LOTRO 2, but the idea behind it is to introduce what-if scenarios in which evil has taken over the Shire and beyond. You'll venture out into the infamous plot points and conquer the world of Middle-earth again. Well, and of course he goes further into this in the main part of the story. But as you can see here, they feel that some people felt this and others, of course, disagreed.
Yeah, the comments on this were actually kind of interesting.
Yes. What did Ghouls 3 say? Anyone?
Well, it's that day of the year again. Of course, I want to see the game go on. I'm not a fanatic that it needs to keep strictly to the books, but it should keep to the spirit of the story.
All right. And Belcanian.
Balconian.
Belcanian, all right. And Belcanian, what does Belcanian say?
If they want to do something not in canon, then go to lands that only mentioned in the books. Then they could literally do whatever they want. Leave the established stuff alone. Of course, you got to remember that it came out on a certain day of the month, which
yes,
is not entirely serious.
Oh, Mary Road Morningstar has a third hypothesis on what happened to the producer's letter. Maybe the producer's letter got stuck in the Shire postal delivery system.
Oh, we'll see. That would do it.
Yeah.
Although we did fix it a bunch of times this year, or this week.
Yeah, we ran that several times. Well, I think we ran it as a group, and I think we ran it with Kenrit and Celevorn once to finish out our Shire deeds.
Though Sans started it and hasn't finished it, so it could be stuck in one of her mailbags somewhere.
Oh, there you go. It's all Sans' fault.
All right. Then let's head to our new player question. What's the question for this week?
Sure. The question this week is just, can we have a general overview on how Monster plays?
It sounds like a Terry Adwin question.
Why is it a me question?
Wait, anyone here who does a bit? You're the one who seems to like to lead the pack.
Well,
You're the highest ranked one among us.
Monster play is a thing that everybody can do as long as you have a character up to level 10. Because even free-to-play players can play Reaver for free. Otherwise, you can purchase classes with LOTRO points, and you can do the different things. There's 2 Orc classes, 2 Uruk-hai classes, a Spider, and a Warg that you can play. I prefer warging because I can be stealthy and creep around and nobody can see me. And it's basically like being a burglar except better. And it's PvE Well, it's player versus player, but they call it player versus monster player, so it's PvMP. And you basically, the general idea is that you are creeping around as a servant of Sauron on the other side, and you're trying to take down the free peoples of Middle Earth. And there are pitched battles and lots of dying, and sometimes it's great, and other times it's not so great. And also, arcade stuns really suck right now.
Yeah, unless you're a freep. But if you're a creep, oh man. Ouch.
Also, I want to say that the high elf yells that I thought were really annoying in beta are like twice as annoying when you're a creep and they're jumping up and down on top of your corpse.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now note that the legendary servers do not currently allow you to play Monster Play. It's only available on the 10 main servers.
And they actually may never bring the PvMP stuff to the legendary servers. It's one way to keep them apart, I guess.
Yeah, because I think because of the way the current things. I know there are people who keep on asking for it, but I don't think
there's
the
10 other
it.
servers that you can do PvMP on. Why do you need it on the legendary servers?
I don't know. And I have a feeling that the last thing they need is to take the VIPs away from the other
Yeah, I really
servers.
think that the focus of the legendary servers is supposed to be on the content and not trying to beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, well.
What?
I mean, it's great if you're in the mindset for that, but I don't like losing, so I typically am not in the mindset for creeping, which is actually why I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm. Let's then head into our week in LOTRO. And Calabathian, what were you up to?
Let's see. Well, speaking of creeping around the moor, we went a warging a couple of times this week. Once as a big group, and then again as a group later on this week. But on Arkenstone is the server we were on, and I have actually done some of the creeping stuff as a warg on Laurelin, where my main is. I haven't done it in quite a while. It wasn't quite as active, but that's because it's a European server, and obviously I'm in the US. So when they're doing big raids and stuff at 9 and 10, 11 in the morning, I'm asleep because it's in the wee hours. I'm like, so not much I could do there, but I kind of got on here because they were like, hey, let's do the moors. And so I created a little warg on Arkenstone, and my baby warg was helped, and I think finally reached rank 3. And it was really interesting because it's a really active server, and this is the first time I was really in an active server. But never have I had so much lag in a pitched battle. It was annoying, but excellent at the same time. Everyone was just killing each other left, right, and all you could do was just try to tab and bite as a warg. It's just try to tag people and hope that it actually worked before someone completely slaughtered you. So, let the blood flow, boys. Also, shout out to our friendly creep defiler healer, Passing Wind, on that server. I could not have made the comment, "We were healed by Passing Wind," without you, sir.
Passing Wind is a war leader.
War leader. I thought it was a defiler.
No, he's a war leader.
Definitely war leader.
Okay, then war leader.
Definitely rezzed several of us at a time.
Yeah.
Yes, we were a tragic carpet at one point. Now there is a picture.
Oh yeah.
Calabathian, I have a question.
Yes.
If you were on this side of the pond, why were you playing on Laurelin?
I think that was actually the first server that I ever actually got on. And I want to say that might have been the first server. Terry, were you actually the one that introduced me and got on Laurelin and then moved to Landy?
I think I think whoever first got me into the game was playing on Laurelin, and
Ah.
so I was on Laurelin at the time, and then I ended up moving to Landreval later.
And see, I wasn't playing a whole bunch after the first little bit, so I stayed on Laurelin at first, and then I started making other places. But yeah, that's why I'm on Laurelin. So, I mean...
All right, continue.
But yes, the second thing, Glompla, I finished out my spring festivaling. Oh, thank God. But Glompla got her goat mount in the festival, so now she gets to ride around on a goat, and it's wonderful now. And also she got a couple of pets gifted to her that have basically they got names. I got to name them. One is my little wormling is Gohira. And my little mole rat that I got gifted is Buck because he's naked. He's buck naked. And so yeah, you can see my naming conventions, but it kind of inspired some food-based names for future edible pets, and I've decided to base them off of the Maiar that came to Middle Earth. So yeah, as soon as I start getting them, I'll start introducing them, their names and stuff. And but Glompla is a cook though, so it's kind of okay if she's got food-based edible pet names. And also on on Terry's suggestion, I kind of wrote for Glompla, since she's the minstrel,
right.
The True Tale of Leland's Lunch, since I'm still salty about that.
So your rabbit is going to be called Coney.
Maybe. Maybe Coney, or let me see, I wrote them down. It's either going to be Coney or it's going to be... I wrote them down. Maybe Iwindilicious. For Iwindil? Yeah, Iwindilicious. And then finally, I tagged along with a high-level group for power leveling on Celevorn, so we could get him up to level 50, and I can Valar him up. Managed to do that earlier today, got him over 50, and so we're ready to go. But while tagging along with this high-level group, I somehow managed to stay alive until basically it was just like me and two other people. Everyone else had gone to bed. And in one of our last little skirmishes that we were running, the end, we have like some dragons coming at us, and the main dragon randomly one-shotted me from halfway across like the world, over the heads of the people actively attacking it, and I hadn't even fired a shot. I was just standing there because I'm so squishy. They're like, stay back here so you don't die. And what happens? The dragon was like with fire, and I saw it coming at me going, yeah, this is going to be bad. And sure enough, boof, it hit me, and I died immediately. And so they're like, okay, come running back around. And so I had to run back around. But yeah, I was just like, really? There are people like stabbing you, and you see this one guy standing off like as a speck in the distance, and you're going to kill him. So once again, I have proof that Celevorn is just tasty, and monsters want him.
He's just too pretty.
He's too pretty. Even standing around being too pretty, he's just too beautiful to live.
I didn't realize that's the same character. That's hilarious.
Yes. So, Arendis, how about you?
Oh, geez. Well, I also was part of the warging group. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if I've laughed that hard playing LOTRO in a while. The RK stuns are pretty intense, though, so watch out for those if you guys go out. Other than that, I worked on leveling my champion. I got to Thanglehod for the first time, which was pretty cool. And also got my pig in a blanket housing decoration, and it's kind of amazing. So been pretty happy about that. Gorndis, how was your week?
Well, a happy, I guess, belated birthday, Arindis. I went running on that group on the Moors 2 for your birthday and got my baby work up to rank 3 and was kind of happy that I got to take a nip out of the raid leader before I died. But I think he died too, so, Where, finally, after 2 weeks of saying she didn't want to go to Barad-dûr, she finally went to Barad-dûr. It's done. She took care of that. And then took herself to Central Gondor because of the virtue boost that's going on right now, and did Slayer deeds. And then today, my kin leader, Leonori, took me to Central Gondor, and I took care of the war bands and got some motes. So I'm gearing towards looking at the 115 gear. And some exciting news, my hand weapon is now completely maxed. So
Yay!
both my bow and my hand weapon is, except I just imbued a second bow that I'm going to do as a redline DPS one.
Why?
So, because I'm a masochist, I guess. So there will be more days in Minas Tirith. And the last fun thing today, I was actually out running some delivery rounds and had just went back to trade in to get some crystals for that LI. That's the DPS is all max. The new bow, the second bow, and heard the mercenaries of Rydor were having a community parade and went and crashed that, and it was hilarious. There was somebody who was a chicken player who intentionally ran and caught up with them and was with the parade the whole time. And somewhere past Bree, actually past Adzo's camp, a horse player showed up too. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everybody had different mounts out and just riding along at a walk and just having a good time. Terry Adwin, what did you do this week?
Well, as mentioned, I remembered why I stopped playing Creepside, because I too was part of the Arendis' birthday group, and I was, I don't know why I volunteered to take charge of the group of baby wargs, but it's so nerve-wracking to me when people that I feel like I'm responsible for are dying. And I know that in PvMP, people die, especially the creeps are going to die. But for what it's just very stressful. So the second night, I was not taking charge of anybody or anything. I was just like, yep, let's go here. I don't care where we go.
You just wanted to bite someone the second
I just wanted to bite someone. Well, because I had done 6 hours of work and because I'm one of the few people that are still going to an exterior location to go to work, and so are plenty of other people still. So I had some frustration to work off, and I thought that biting people would be a good way to work that off, and it was, except for the Runekeeper stuns, because there was a Runekeeper that kept stalking us. But it was great too, because a couple of times I would call out in OOC where the creeps were, and the creeps would show up and help us, and it was awesome. Like, they actually were taking my word for it in OOC, because the first night we were out, when I had the baby work pack, I would say something in OOC and everybody would ignore it, and I'm like, okay, be that way. Except for the time that we were in Tullisgarden and another warg ran by us. Another warg ran by us that is also, no, it was TR where we ended up, the tragic carpet. But Tullisgarden was another place where we died a lot.
No, I forgot about that ward picking up.
And this other, no, that was Elf Camp. Yeah, really early in the evening.
Yeah.
Really early in the evening, we decided, Sans wanted to go take out the Elf Camp. So we wanted to take out the elf camp. We were doing really, really, really well. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there were like Bergs and a warden, and I don't even know what all else. We're like 3 freeps just popped out of nowhere. And we were all dead before we knew what was going on. And except for Calabathian's warg, I think, had managed to like stay out of it and got back into stealth, and was kind of sitting on the sidelines going, what do I do? I'm too squishy! Because, rank 0. And we're just like, just stay there. And this other warg came out of nowhere and helped us take out the freeps, and then offered to come around and help us. So then we spent about, 15, 20 minutes trying to get him into Discord. And I forgot to warn this guy but beforehand that, by the way, we're all girls. Because that's a group of 6 women, and I'm pretty sure he was foreign because he had kind of a foreign accent. Group of women, and randomly this guy pops in because girls don't PvMP. Oh yes, we do. Except you don't necessarily really prepare you really should mentally prepare somebody for. By the way, it's a group of women. He was a really good sport, and he hung out with us for about another half hour or so, and then he made an excuse and poofed. Yeah, that was that was pretty funny. And then later in the evening, we're at Tallest Garden and running up the stairs, and there was another roomkeeper that was playing back and forth with some of the other creeps in the area, and on the way up the stairs, this other word passed us and called out and out of character in OC. They're like, "Cute baby word pack," and I was like, "Thank you." We were really adorable, except for Calabathian's work, who managed to get the Vile Horror appearance, so it's really disgusting looking.
It was a lovely tragic carpet, except for that really vile horror ugly one at the end. That's like really gross.
On the whole, we were an adorable baby warg pack. But yeah, the second night was much better because I was just in the mood to kill things, and I pretty much bit everything that came across my path because that's how wargs roll. I mean, that's you have two jobs in the moors. You either get into the thick of it and tab and bite as much as you can and then run away or die, or you stay in stealth and don't attack anything and follow the freeps around and call out where they are so that everybody else can kill them. Which actually I learned to do really, really, really well when I was creeping on Gladden. So I don't know, if I stick with the creeping thing, maybe I can build up a reputation as a scout again and actually start to get. I am 84.85% of the way to rank 8, you guys.
Nice.
So close. So close.
Huzzah.
And before we started all of this, I was like 77 point something %. So it's gone up quite a bit in the 2 sessions that we had. So yay.
Oh, by the way, Sam Burke says he's taking notes that Terry is a biter. And and Mary Rose is saying bite Heine and then kill them. She's not wrong.
Well, and thank you again, Terry, for being willing to lead all of us, or well, I'm not going to say all of us, I'm going to speak for me, the little noobs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I actually don't mind being responsible for groups. It's very stressful when I know the group is going to die. Because my goal is to keep people alive when I'm in charge. And yeah, so that's actually why I try not to be in charge as much. And I think part of that impulse comes from girls, because girls had me like tearing my hair out trying to keep everybody together, because there was always that one hobbit running off doing whatever. There was always a dot never with the group. But actually, the reason I learned all of this and guiding people around and things is actually because of Tolkien Professor and Maven. Back in the early days, before he started running the Grifflet stream, and he was, they were learning group mechanics and things like that. We got into some fairly early things, and we would have a tank, but the tank can't really be responsible for keeping everybody together, because the tank is responsible for tanking the mobs. So you have another person in the group who's basically responsible for making sure that everybody's in the group and together. And I would make a good kindergarten teacher, except I would end up bald because I don't have any patience for that. But yeah, so I'm a good, not group leader necessarily, but I'm a good keeping track of where everybody is. Or at least I try very hard to do it. But it's very stressful, and that's why I needed to not do it the second time we were in there. I'm like, somebody else can keep us together, because I just need to kill things. I also took Sarissa out of, she took a break from doing Eastern Gondor and went on a run of the Ale Association rounds. I remembered how much I love doing Ale Association, actually, because it is so relaxing to just be the Grand Saboteur and run through the Shire and be mean to everybody without really causing any lasting damage. I mean, you're traumatizing some hobbits and maybe a couple of dwarves, but that's okay, because they're not going to remember me anyway, because I just disappeared. And then we ran around the Shire with Kenrit and Celeborn, picking up tasty Virtue XP because why not? Again, it's really relaxing. I ran us through the post run, and then we did Shire Brewmaster, and then we did the pies, and now we get to work on the rest of the quest deeds and the Slayer deeds. But I'll tell you what, if you do Shire Brewmaster, so the quest deed for the Shire, all 3 tiers, is 75 quests. If you do all of the posts, all of the pies, and all of the pubs, it will get you through those first 2 tiers, and then you can pick and choose the last 35 quests, which is actually pretty cool. I think that's why they made that so high on that final tier, is because there's so much else to do in the Shire. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do in the Shire that doesn't actually involve killing anything, which is occasionally really nice when all you want to do is just run around and not think about stuff.
So it might get you turned into a chicken if you are not careful.
It might get you turned into a chicken if you're not careful. True. So that was my week. Sans, how about you?
My week was good. Okay, so today, for the first time, ever, I ran through Bree without losing the landscape. So, normally, when there's a lot of people on, normally I come from the west gate, and I run towards the pony, and about the time that there's that place where there's, a little gate and a guard walking with the dog and stuff, everything goes gray in front of me. You can't tell where cobblestones are, you can't tell where houses are, you can't tell where anything is. You gotta just stop and wait or keep running and hope that you know where you're going. Today, I ran through Bree on ultra-high graphics without the landscape hiccuping at all. There were lots of people online, and there was a concert right outside the pony, and everybody was wearing their clothes. I didn't see anyone in their underwear. This is the most amazing, fantastic time I have ever run through Bree. I'm kind of scared to go back. But
what, did you get a new computer or something?
I upgraded my graphics card so that I could give my old graphics card to my nephew to upgrade his computer, and I got an SSD. So between the 2 of them, I'm not sure which contributed the most. I think I'm going to have a lot more fun playing LOTRO on higher graphics, because I've been stuck on the lowest graphics setting for ever since I got out of the troll shaws, and discovered that I could not lose all my screen constantly if I turned down the graphics. So yeah.
So you're finally going to be able to see the grass now when we run around.
Grass,
and the flowers.
I'll probably be completely lost in it. I might have to turn the graphics down so I can see myself, but I'm excited to try it with the graphics
drawback
up.
of a Hobbit. Yes.
Hey, at least you wear blue. Makes it a little bit easier for you to see yourself.
True, that should help. So yeah, I was really, really happy about that, and I just stopped and I watched the concert for a little bit because I was like, look, I can see everybody, and they're all dressed. I like this. Normally I don't just stop because I'm like, it's kind of weird to just stand here and stare at people in their underwear hoping that their clothes appear.
Well, depending on when you go at during the time of day and you stop in front of the pony, they may not be wearing them clothes, from what I understand.
That is also true. It could be that they would never get clothes on, but this group was wearing clothes, and I saw them properly, and I was very pleased. And I also went warging and practiced dying. I am working on getting to rank 7 on my warg, and I think I'm 30% of the way there now, so that's pretty cool. It's really hard getting rank now, though, especially when every time you go anywhere, you die. Because runekeepers show up with their runestones, and then you're dead. They can stun you 5 times in a row without you getting that debuff that keeps you from being stunned. It's ridiculous. Or that buff that keeps you from being stunned again. I don't know. It never shows up.
But the Freeps have that. They can't be stunned more than once.
I can't stun them twice in a row. but they can stun me 5 times in a row, 10 times in a row, however many times I can last. But I tried nomming quite a few. As Cinder said, it looks like food, it smells like food, it tastes like food. Yep, this hobbit's probably food. This dwarf is probably food. Yeah, this elf is probably food. We nommed quite a bit, actually, considering how much we were dying. Most of the things we actually killed were NPCs, but we did team up and take down a Runekeeper a couple of times. The Runekeeper took us down like twice as many times as we took them down, and there were more of us. It took us... they wiped out the 6-7 people like 5 times, and we wiped them out like 3. But yeah,
I'll take those odds though. It felt good to take them down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been nice though if one couldn't take out all of us.
Yeah. Now we know why Sauron required those thousands and thousands and thousands of orcs.
Right. Yeah. One freep is worth at least 6 or 7 of us, even with several of us being rank 5 or above. So, yeah, and it doesn't matter if the freep is ranked or not; they can just wipe us out, which is lame. But I got better at dying and running back, and
dying again and running back some more. There was the incident where we were in the Lugs res and then Lugs flipped. That was fun.
Oh, man. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh man, after you guys were warning, hey, get out of the res because when it flips you'll die. It's like you guys have been warning us newbies all of that, and then all of a sudden I over Discord I'm like,
there was no time. There was no time. My character appeared, and then it was like, you're dead. And I was like, what?
Yeah, we didn't have any warning in OC that they were working on Lugs. It just flipped.
It just flipped, and we had just popped up.
So, and usually you get a couple seconds of grace.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. It was just, we popped up, it flipped, we
trip
died.
To Grams.
Yep, we got back to Grams very quickly. But yeah, it was fun though. I'm hoping that creeps will get a buff sometime soon. I'm not like holding my breath for it, but it would be really, really nice. Because I've got almost max audacity and it's still ridiculous. But yeah, it was fun. It was kind of fun just chasing the freeps back and forth too. Trying to figure out like how do you nom on this minstrel on the side without dying, and I can do it once if I'm lucky. But then they started protecting the minstrels with 3 or 4 bergs, and that was the end of that. But yeah, it was fun. And I did some more deaning on several different characters because of the Virtue XP boost. So I have several characters who are slightly more virtuous now. How was your week, Pineleaf?
In my week, I'll begin with my burglar, who completed the parts of the Bingo Boffin storyline where you travel through Rohan, and I said farewell to a Link's companion. So that means that we're just getting into Dunland, and I think next time I play, I'm going to be saying hello to a certain dragon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Then my stout axe prepared for entering into the Crown Treasury. That means I did all that stuff between We Cannot Get Out and in preparing everything, going into the Flaming Deeps and all that stuff, where you have the very annoying quest where you get all these materials that require you to kill 20 orcs in order to reach them, and then after that it says, kill 20 orcs!
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, you couldn't have given us that quest before we came down here and killed all these orcs?
Just added as an additional part of the existing quest, right? No problem whatsoever. Especially since he does tell you to kill them when he gives it. Says, while you're at it, you can also, I'm doing it while I'm at it. No, it doesn't happen until you finish it. Oh, well. Now, my goal here is to finish up and unlock all the skirmishes by the end of the month. And at the end of the month or at the very start of the next month, I am going to be turning on that 105 boost to get I'm going to Valor up to 105. You say, why 105? Because I'm a Stout Axe and I want to experience the Mordor story on level with a Stout Axe, because I'm wanting to see how the Stout Axe interacts with the other dwarves there when we get to the Stout Axe storyline.
Oh, cool.
So yes, that's why I decided I'm going to do this at 105, and I have to see how much prep I'm going to need and all that stuff in order for things to work out right. And then during the field trip, not during the field trip, this is during the Friday night fights, we ran 3 skirmishes. And we started out with a strike against Dananglor, then Siege of Gondomar, and then finally we finished off with Thievery and Mischief. And this was done with a group of 6. And that finishes up my week in LOTRO. So let's look into news beyond LOTRO, where Darren Loremaster has another part of his Riddles in the Dark wallpapers. Now here's someone who apparently has this fixed schedule for when he does things. Apparently he likes to publish on Wednesdays. So he's the only person who posted a serious article on April 1st.
Yes.
Because
Nothing
this
like
was
confusing all of our readers.
confusing all the readers. Where's the April Fool's joke in here? No. It's another one of his wallpapers. This time it stands 5 of Riddles in the Dark. So what eats all else? At last all things devours. What dines on birds, trees, and on beasts, and on flowers. What slays every king, and what ruins each town. What even high mountains does surely beat down. What gnaws cold iron, and bites the hard steel. Grinds hard rocks to meal. 'Tis time, I feel. And that is Riddles in the Dark. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. And if you'd like to support us without joining Patreon, then just send the funds to Draculator at email drac@lotroplayers.com. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, Lotro Players at Lotro Players, Arendis at Arendis, Piney Fit, Piney Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, Guerin is said, Nina Shell, and Calabathian at Calabathian. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Polly Needles reminding you to socialize responsibly.